team. But the main thing for me is that Young Homie is there in the middle of these team fights. His communication is good. His energy is infectious, as you know, if you've ever talked to the guy. So him being in the middle of the game in the Guardian role instead of just on his own solo island has been a big deal for Most Wanted.
And I mean, I'm really excited because of everything that you just mentioned to see how both of these teams are going to match up. And right away with the picks and bans coming through, Scotty and Odin, two very standard bans on the console.
Fatal Ghost, the hunter for Most Wanted, has really stormed into this scene and looked very, very strong for Most Wanted. No surprise to see Astral Authority immediately targeting him out with that Scotty ban.
And on the other side, you have the Odin ban, which is nice because Cloud does tend to lean more towards the Isis, for instance, and the Vulcan. They can struggle a little bit with that Odin ring, but Cabrakan...
Well, this Odin ban, going back to that, he's up against Wolves, and Wolves plays Odin no matter the matchup. Astral Authority will first pick Odin for Wolves. Cloud knows this. Cloud was teammates with the Wolves for all of Season 3. Just knowing exactly what your former teammates like to play, really heads up ban there.
And the Awelish, and why do you think that they're banning Awelish at this stage already?
Chaotic Purpose, very, very known for his Awelish. He likes the pressure, but this opens up Susano. I am surprised that Most Wanted banned away the Awelish just because Marsleezy is very comfortable on that god. Susano has been the clear #1 choice for Chaotic Purpose all spring split long, so I figured that they would leave that open, allow Astral Authority to pick the Susano if they wanted to, and then select Awelish for Marsleezy. It must have a different plan in mind.
So it seems as though these junglers do tend to share a lot of the same god pool.
Specifically, the Awelish is the big one that they both share. It's going to be Marsleezy on the picks like Nemesis, a little bit less pressure oriented, all about pressure for Astral Authority all the time.
And speaking of pressure, it looks like Most Wanted want a little bit of pressure themselves, grabbing that Medusa and Isis, and that's two very strong picks already, and not to mention comfort picks at that.
Exactly, comfort picks for both Cloud and Fatal Ghost, but I love this Isis pick because Covey has been very, very proficient on the Isis, and again, what did I just say? It's all about pressure for Astral Authority. Isis does that better than any other mid god right now. Really like that pickup from Most Wanted.
But do you think that they could encounter some issues now that Amir and Zeus have been locked in by Astral Authority?
Yeah, this Ymir pick is brutal up against the roster already for Most Wanted. Brochacho so comfortable on the god. Most Wanted has to look at Brochacho. That's the one small weakness that Astral Authority sometimes exhibits, is that Brochacho's a little bit too far forward, especially against a lineup like this where he can wall off so many targets in the jungle. If Most Wanted can identify that Brochacho's on an immobile Guardian like Ymir, may be able to punish him for it.
Do you think that there's any possibility that it could potentially be Wolves on that Ymir instead of Brochacho?
Absolutely, yeah, he's very comfortable on that as well. Most of the time for Astral Authority, it has been Brochacho on the Ymir, but Wolves has played it during the online spring split. That's a great point. It doesn't necessarily have to go to Brochacho here.
And I mean, whether or not it does go to Brochacho, we can already tell that Ram and Uller are definitely not going to be going the way of Transonics.
That really smart bans there. Again, Cloud just knows the god pool of his former teammate and bans away some of those comfort picks.
Do you think that that provides Most Wanted with a slight advantage in this matchup? Because even though Most Wanted hasn't necessarily had the strongest split, LAN is entirely different. Scrims, it's like going from scrims to competitive setting, you know?
Sure, it can. It certainly could, but it also goes both ways, right? Transonics and Wolves know what Cloud likes to do at LAN and what he likes to play and how to get in his head potentially. So both sides have a slight advantage there.
And we've been seeing a lot of this guy recently, actually, the Fafnir pick.
Yeah.
What do you think is making him start to really come out so often?
Good early pressure, and his team fighting is unbelievable. His objective control is great as well. That AoE coerce buff just does so much for your team. Good CC, good escapability, really does it all.
And speaking of supports, it looks like it's actually going to be Khepri going the way of Brochacho. And do you think that that's a little bit interesting considering his more aggressive playstyle?
It is, but this is he also likes to play this true support. He loves to be the Guardian that's going to be saving his carry's life. Any support will tell you there's nothing better than saving the life of one of your teammates. It's not about the initiation, it's about saving your team. Brochacho can play this Khepri very well.
And I'm certain that both of these teams can play all of these gods very well. And I'm really excited to get going into this one. But before we give it away to the casters, Aggro, who do you call?
I like Astral Authority's draft. They have way too many comfort picks. The Susano Zeus in the mid lane between Covey and Chaotic Purpose probably going to be too much to handle.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to just leave it at that. And so now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Aggro is going to be singing with Hindu and F. Dot.
Aggro's staying over there.
I don't see Aggro.
I don't want him anywhere near this
I see no Aggro.
I finally
Thank
got my
God.
man Hindu back.
How you doing? You good?
I'm doing all right. It's been a while.
I know it has. Let's go.
Yeah, Hindu and I, we've got a long time, and we've got a lot of excitement for you. Astral Authority and M-Dub's Most Wanted coming together here. I'm really excited about this one because I really just like to see the cloud calls.
For me, it's going to be like the best team in North America versus the worst team in North America. When you look at the points and how the season went for them, Astral Authority got off to a tear and only dropped... Sorry, they didn't drop a set. They split one set, whereas Most Wanted only won one game so far this split.
But they're on the up and up, and we'll see how far that'll work out in the LAN system. Astral Authority on the left, Most Wanted on the right. And one of the big things about Most Wanted is how new this C-Dot guy is. First of all, shouts to the name. I think I kind of like the name.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You spelled it wrong, though, right?
Yeah, I don't like the spelling of the name, but I like the idea behind it.
I like the spelling. It's easier to find.
Yeah, it's the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Otherwise, Transonics here in his own jungle. Now, keep an eye out for this guy, Transonics. His pathing is usually different. He has an assassin-like pathing where he usually tries to come from the backside of the team fight and really look to clean up. But Most Wanted... Oh, look at this. Clow setting up for something
Proxy
cheeky.
farm.
Who would have
Proxy
thought?
farm. This is early on. We saw this from Eager at the World Championships the first time ever. Most Wanted going to do the same thing. And when you've got three gods like that after, the Thor and the Ice alone will be able to clear in seconds. And not only that, they can now pressure into the enemy jungle.
Yeah, this is an interesting strategy so far. And right at 30 seconds, everything's going to go ahead and spawn. Now, like you said, we saw Eager do this early on in the PC world. But why do you think they didn't continue?
I think they really struggled against how people reacted to it at the World Championships. And it kind of put them at a deficit. They didn't find as much as they wanted, where Most Wanted may actually find more.
Yeah, Wolves is in trouble. He's going to be attacked by Cloud, but even with 4 players on the right side, not enough to take down Ymir.
Not at the moment. I mean, you made level 1. They could have looked for pressure, but they wanted wave clear more often than not to release the pressure in the solo lane to have BCC Dot rotate out of the solo lane to also steal away these camps in the jungle.
Now, look at this. Most Wanted were able to successfully proxy farm one wave, but not the second wave. That second wave is going to go right into the tower, and Cloud and friends are going to miss a little bit of farm right there. So with that in mind, the gold does stay about even, but just something to think about in regards to the tower.
Now, we didn't see it on screen, but what Transonics did at the start of this game was he went to the back harpies at the beginning of the game as a Ho Yi with the ricochet. The triple shot will help clear that nice and quick. Back harpies are with quite a bit of experience too, and when you know you're going to be in a 2v1 because your support is in mid lane, you have to look to try and get farm somewhere, and getting those back harpies and then making sure the enemy don't get them, very, very wise, and gets him to a decent level right now.
Especially as the Ho Yi versus the Medusa. I mean, the Medusa's going to hit her stride a lot earlier than the Ho Yi. Medusa really looking for a mid-game type structure, whereas Ho Yi a little bit later, especially with all those abilities in the Mark of the Golden Crow.
Yeah, Medusa's definitely strong on the wave clear side of things. Mid lane pressure onto Kobe, that beads early on.
Huge.
That's a big issue now, just because when Thor does hit level 5, those beads should be on cooldown as long as he keeps the paces going.
And that's the deal, is Zeus right here, one of the, it's interesting. He's not safe because he doesn't have any movement abilities, but at the end of the day, he's just going to try and kill you before you kill him. And with the way Thor is going to work, land down, try to hit a perfect combo. With Covey, no beads, that's just food for not just Thought, but for the jungler.
Now, Most Wanted at the start of this game, we've seen how it began. They went aggressive in the early game of going for the proxy farm behind the tier 1 and tier 2 towers in the mid wave. The big key is they've drafted very, very well for lane clear and dominance in the lane where they can. Bellona versus Ymir, Bellona's fantastic there, but at the same time, Ymir's wave clear is just a little bit better overall. But Medusa up against Ho Yi, as I was saying, Medusa will have the lane clear advantage. They've gone for early pressure, which is what you want when you've got a Thor and an Isis on the team.
Beautiful play by Marsleazy. Oh my goodness, he gets pulled in by Chaotic Purpose. Nice setup for Covey, but Marsleazy, instead of trying to exit by way of the lane, just gets out of there, teleports over the wall into the jungle, knowing that the other guys, Chaotic Purpose, could chase him in lane, but can't chase him over the wall. Marsleazy makes a very, very good, quick-thinking play and gets out of jail.
Look at the fact that Astral are actually up in gold, even though Most Wanted were the ones that got most of the jungle camps at the start of this game. Reason being is more members of Most Wanted have been around those camps at the same time, which has equaled things out, whereas Astral have shared less. If you share less, you technically get more overall in the grand scheme of things, but you want to share at least one at a time. When you start to group up with 2-mans, well, 3-mans, I should say, that's when you start to have issues.
Listen, man, it's just like life. You want to share so people don't absolutely hate you, but at the end of the day, sometimes you got to be about yourself.
I'm all about myself.
The balance.
I don't care about sharing.
Yeah, I know about
Don't
that
tell
one.
my wife.
I'll try not to, but she's definitely at home listening.
More than
so
likely.
You dug your own grave, homie. Right here, Marsleazy, trying to dig one for the support player. Brochacho, not too afraid, knows that he got people in the ranks. There's a great double pull coming out from Chaotic Purpose. Marsleazy snatched up and shut down. Covey with the first blood going the way of Astral.
Notice the beads were down on Marsleazy in the jungle early on there. Had another 90 seconds on that before that initiation happened. Astral recognized that and abused it at the right time. They could have gone on the Isis. No, he's got beads. Yep. Go on the Thor, pick him up, pull him in, and then straight afterwards, Brochacho's there with the follow-up of the abduct.
Great target selection, like you said, but also I loved Brochacho's his positioning. You saw the 3-on-1, and Brochacho just walked forward right at them, knowing he had people in the wings coming right there. Chaotic Purpose and Brochacho make a nice little combo. I think we're going to see a lot more of the grab into the abduct coming out from the jungler and the support.
Big game for Chaotic Purpose here today as well, just because his past performances of LAN have not lived up to his online expectations that he's done throughout the season. Now he's going to be in an environment where he's on this team who are classed as the #1. Yep. He has to perform here, otherwise people are going to start looking at him like, well, when he gets to LAN, he's not the same player, and you've got to find comfortability here, otherwise you can really end up not getting on the top teams.
Well, yeah, Chaotic Purpose is a player. I got to speak to him. That interview went for a lot longer, and this is, you know, it's interesting. There's a story about, you know, Divios once upon a time was a very different player than he is now, and I see a little bit of that in Chaotic Purpose. He's a young guy, and he came out just sort of swinging himself around, saying, I'm the best, everybody eat my shorts, and kind of just got stomped on at LAN. And that was a really big awakening for him.
Sure.
So he kind of, like I said, swallowed his pride, and you heard him talk on the video, and here he is, and talking to him, as Gold Fury gets attacked by Most Wanted. He's here for a much different statement.
Still not brought this up yet, but Young Kobe does have a hog available, looking to secure this for his team, and Most Wanted will do so. Into the sky goes Thor, but he's already dead.
Brochacho picks up a kill, and his jungler picks one up as well. 2 players dead for Most Wanted so far. Klaus next on the menu, and that's a double kill for KP.
So 3 for 1 in exchange for a Gold Fury. Astral did come out okay in that engagement, but they would like more if they can get it right now. Keep that eye on the left-hand side where the Ho Yi is going to be able to push a wave under the tower now. Transonics will get a little bit more gold denied to Most Wanted to even things up some more.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those plays where this sounds weird, don't care about the numbers. It's about the feel. 3 players lost, sure, it might be net positive, but look what Trans is doing here on the left side. Looks what's happening across the map. Most Wanted, I like the idea, I like the mindset. If you're gonna go hog, you better use it. But at the same time, I don't know if that was worth it.
That was mainly positioning from Most Wanted around that Gold Fury. Did they get the Gold Fury? Yes, but too many people were in a position to get picked off one after the other. Cloud's position at the end there, he was just isolated and alone. Trans had dipped. So the team had dipped, I should say, on the backside, and they were not going to get involved with him. They left Cloud to die, but the rest of the team had gone down too by being around. They only needed 1 person to tank that up towards the end, 2 at tops.
So when we see teams execute this play, what's also a part of the idea is hard retreat. If you're going to go for that play and you're going to commit because you have the hog or any large mage ultimate to really confirm, you got to bail and you got to have your path. It's like robbing a bank. You got to know how you're getting out before you even get in. And it looked like Most Wanted started that play and they didn't have any idea where the exits were.
Now, we talked about the composition from Most Wanted a little bit already. We mentioned Isis and Thor in the same comp. Early on, they are a fantastic powerhouse of a team. The longer the game goes, though, is where Isis starts to struggle with being able to confirm a lot of her damage, whereas Covey, who's playing Zeus, a different story. Fights like that Gold Fury after, yeah, it was okay for Most Wanted, but it wasn't as good as they need it to be to transfer this to the mid game and get the lead they need.
Look at the Chach. I love the patience right there coming out from the veteran support player. He hugs the wall in the left side jungle, making sure to get experience from that wave in the mid lane, and he's in position in case somebody walks in the wrong direction. If anybody goes a little bit too far up that mid lane, you know the hug bug's coming right around the backside. So Brochacho, he doesn't jump the gun, he just takes the farm, but he's waiting and ready if somebody walks.
I'm just looking back at how the game started now. At 8 minutes in, you can see Astral are up 4 kills in this game. And when you take into account how they pressured in the early game, look for the tier 1, tier 2 proxy farm in the mid lane. It's not done as much for them as they think it would have done. Whether they've tested that out enough, because I believe they had plans to do something like this.
Sure.
But I don't see the victory in it. There is no victory.
At the same time, I don't see a loss either. And right now in Season 4, you can do so many different things. And as long as you're even, which these teams separated by a handful of 100, I'm totally fine with a 700 gold lead.
Oh, Cloud's in so much trouble there on the back. He's going to wing gust away. The Typhoon comes out. Bluestone Pendant to the rescue.
And that's going to be a nice little dot kill. 2-on-1. Covey in trouble. Wolves going to rotate. Nice wall to stop young homie. Freeze going to stop him a second time. There's the ultimate. Not enough to kill, but it will slow down. Different story from the Hunter. Down goes Covey at the hand of Fatal Ghost.
On top of that, Bologna's now in trouble too. Tick, tick, tick away as the root comes out, and Wolves will clean it up with a Glacial Strike before C-Dot can get out.
Listen, man, C-Dot could have walked away, but he stood still and got hit by the carpet. Ymir just chowed him down. That's the first kill for Wolves, and that's going to be, in my opinion, Hindu, the first of many for the Ymir player.
And this is what I was going back to, the fact that they got off to a good start, most wanted, with that idea. But if you get behind on Thor and Isis in the mid lane, you have to get ahead early, because if you don't, Isis is not going to transfer. Zeus will. Zeus 1, 1, and 3. Cloud 0, 2, and 0 on this Isis early on. And
with that in mind, we know that Cloud likes to build tanky. Now, the Helm, this is par for the course. This is standard. But don't be surprised if you see an Ethereal Step, even a Breastplate of Valor, Cloud has been known to go. So depending on how hard Cloud gets shut down, right now he's 0-2, don't be surprised to see this mage really go the full control route and commit to building next to 0 power.
Keep an eye on Transonics now, who's just coming back from base. Picked up Igval, going for further penetration, more than likely execution on this Hou Yi, whereas Fatal Ghost, his lane opponent here on the Medusa, is still been going for this Transcendence, which isn't online yet. So at the moment, the boxing potentially is in Transonic's favor, especially when you're playing Hou Yi as well. You're looking to fight as much as you can.
C-Dot in trouble, jumps right into the wall! KP, number 4. 100% kill participation for the jungler. Chaotic Purpose, he wanted to set a different kind of look for himself this time around, already on the up and up.
After we saw this at the Gauntlet Land, Susano is so strong right now in the early game engagements. Not just the early, but the mid game too. Being able to get in quick, close the gap on enemies, and deal fantastic amounts of damage, especially with the Hydras as well.
I love the hard commit to the tower right there, Hindu. I think there's a lot of other options on the table. Right now, Marsleazy has one for himself. Lands down, misses it completely. Different story for Covey. Lets it rain. Everybody in trouble. 1 kill already for the Zeus man.
Love the revive coming out from Brochacho on Covey too, to allow Zeus to stay alive again and get himself the double kill.
And that's going to put the team up to double ones. 11 kills for Astral Authority. Most Wanted trailing. They've only got 1.
I tell you what, though, we came into this game and a lot of people were talking at Most Wanted, saying, listen, the start of the season wasn't good. Maybe they've got a chance here. If they can get for Astral Authority, they could go all the way. Right now, Astral are like, no. Listen, we were number 1 of the whole split. Yeah. We're going to continue doing that at LAN. By showing Most Wanted, they need to be going home.
Listen, man, Mortality Wolves, still rocking the Mortality tag these days. Wolves is considered by most players, if not all, to be the best player on the box at a certain point in time. That mentality still resonates today. Transonics, one of the natural Xbox players here in the console land, played console before he played PC, and it certainly shows. Brochacho has been playing SMITE since the game came out on PC. These guys have the ranks, they have the stripes on their shoulders, and they certainly have the natural talent to succeed.
The balance of actual console expertise, as well as the balance of having someone like Brochacho, who's been around the SMITE scene for a very long period of time, has that experience of playing on the some high levels now and again, Challenger Cup level all the way up. He's been around the scene long enough to be able to give these guys who don't really understand necessarily the behind-the-scenes stuff, like the communications, like, should we be going for towers here? That sort of information is where Brochacho brings to these guys who are very talented.
And that's why I love Chaotic Purpose on this team. He was just sort of a little ranked goblin, right? And he just had this bad attitude and nobody really wanted to deal with him. Brochacho is the older figure. He's in his mid-20s. He's been around the SMITE scene since Lazes was playing on Team Dignitas. He knows the ins and outs, and he knows not just how to be a player, but how to be a person.
Well, I bring up Brochacho some because of the fact that when you look at the team, the issue that I see with Astral Authority overall is Wolves, Transonics, and Chaotic Purpose for sure all have the same telltale issue, which is they are like a bull in the china shop. They see a kill, they want the kill. They will go all in for the kill. And you need that backline man of like, no, 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 we can't chase this sometimes. Having someone like Brochacho there is useful.
Nice stun coming out from the young homie there. Mid-dash, Brochacho gets stuck. Right side, C-Dot in trouble, frozen, pulled, and he's got the Frisbee on him as well. He's toasted. That's going to be number 4 for the mid lane. 9 kills, have Covey's stamp of approval on it. The side lane goes down. Everybody from Astral tries to back. Marsleazy interrupts the party, but runs away. All 5 members of Astral totally fine with that. Looking to go home. Wolves in some trouble here.
And now with the Petrified coming out too, he's slowed down again, but Chaotic Purpose helping him out for the time being. Aegis dropped to keep Ghost alive, and now as the Icy Spirit Ball comes out, didn't find a home there, is now Most Wanted to force back again. Astral didn't want to fight, they wanted to base. Most Wanted forced this, and now they don't like it.
Yeah, this is showing up and just making sure everybody sticks around, but now you leave yourself. Transonics forces Cloud back to base. He has got to be mad about that one.
Listen, Most Wanted chose to fight that.
That was not cool.
Astral were out. Astral were leaving, and Most Wanted went, let's fight them. And then went, hang on, this is a terrible idea. And now they lose more lives for it.
Listen, for me, from the outside looking in, Most Wanted didn't do that. Marsleazy did that.
True.
He landed on the whole team to try and be funny.
To be fair, he was more up in the air for the Bologna, trying to save Bologna. When he's coming down, he's like, well, I might as well hit them for damage too and just give him a wake-up call. But the rest of the team decided, yo, we can still fight this. And that's where it went wrong.
Listen, when you're sitting 4th from the bottom on player damage, I guess you got to do whatever you got to do. Marsleazy over there, channeling his inner Russell Westbrook, trying to pad his stats just a little bit.
I do not get that reference.
It's all good. Well, I'll mention football later on. How about that?
Yeah, you got it right. You get it.
Astral Authority, bad luck 13 in their kill column, but it's been all good luck for them so far. Leading by about 7,000 gold. Transonics picking up the tower for free. No one's even here. P.S. Kobe's got a kill on the right side.
This should be the last time Chaotic Purpose gets hold of Susano. Like,
yeah,
completely. One game, and that's all it should take for you to realize, do not give Susano over to Chaotic Purpose. Maybe other teams will let it slip to their other junglers too, because we've seen how strong they are.
Wolves with the hot non-juke. Young homie just straight up missed a standing still Ymir. That's gotta hurt.
Because who stands still in Smite? Very few people ever stand still in this game. You're always juking to the left or the right at some point while you're farming. Standing still is sometimes overrated for how good it can be. Underrated,
that's
sorry.
Wolves. You know me.
Yeah.
I get excited about the people yelling and screaming at each other. One of the nice things about Astral, one of the unique things here, as they group up looking for a sneak play, the outside laners, very quiet. Wolves and Transonics are notoriously silent players. Transonics says, listen, I don't got to say much. I let my game talk for myself.
Now, this moment right now is where Most Wanted have to go all in, because the Fire Giant's been started by Astral. The worst problem is, though, is that they come through that corridor where Wolves is. They're all going to get hit by Zeus as well, but look how much Wolves is doing.
One man controlling 3 players takes one out as well. Fire Giant going to go ahead and be leashed as Astral Authority turn to look towards the fight. Chaotic Purpose takes down the young homie. Marsleazy's low, and he's taken out by a nice little shot at a Transonics. KP picks up 2. That's 2 for the Hunter, and that's 0 for Most Wanted, since 0 players are alive. Classic deicide. Astral on fire.
And that's a free Fire Giant, easily the way of Astral now. With only 2 tier 2 towers remaining as well, it's not going to be long until we're sieging the Phoenixes and Most Wanted right now. Look at the level disparity. You can see that there without even going to the graphs. Look at how different in the levels is. It's too much.
16 to 14, 15 to 11. This one goes down to 11. Hindu. The jungler just not feeling right. That's 5 digits. 11,000 gold to the lead for Astral.
It's over 1,000 gold a minute in favor of Astral with how this game has begun. And when you think about how Most Wanted started by trying to put pressure on and invade the jungle and steal the jungle,
yeah,
still didn't work out.
No, just not at all. Astral here, I mean, the one point that I wanted to bring up was the jungle mid synergy. Chaotic Purpose and Covey are looking fantastic, but really, it's a 4-man synergy of Wolves, KP, Covey, and Brochacho, and Transonics just comes through shooting people in the face. Yep. I have really enjoyed watching what Astral are doing.
Now they're just going to be able to sit back while this game's going on, going, okay, what do we need to correct for game 2? These guys at Astral, this is something you can't necessarily do when you're winning sometimes because it's too close, as we're going to watch Ghost fall on the left-hand side here and continuing the pressure for Astral. What they can do is sit in their comms right now after and go, okay, so they did this at the start. How do we correct that, guys? We can talk about this now because we've got time to. We're just going to walk in, take a couple of Phoenixes, close out game 1.
Exactly. This is inevitable here. Most Wanted. Both teams kind of hitting the proverbial mental locker room right now, looking towards the rest of the series, as you said. This is a best of 3.
Yep.
So we are going to see Most Wanted perhaps have a better showing in game number 2. If I'm coaching Most Wanted, man, where do you start?
You start with what the idea of the composition is supposed to do, and that is get ahead early. It all went wrong in the first Gold Fury for me. That first Gold Fury was way too even and not cost efficient for what they lost in that engagement.
Very, very true. Marsleazy gets hit by the Beyblade from a distance. 21, Blackjack. And Kobe brings it up to 22. Wolves furthers it to 23. The throne room under attack, and the Titan likely to fall in the next couple of minutes. The Phoenixes come first, of course. Mid already down. Left side is the target for Astral Authority.
Wise just to take them down in case you make a mistake at the Titan. You've not got fire minions coming down just yet. They're going to be normal minions still for a while. But when you look at the levels and the health of the team of Astral Authority, it won't take long for this Titan to fall.
There's levels to this stuff, and Astral Authority just bringing it on home. Game 1 goes to AA above most wanted.